And welcome back to the Spring Spirit Drive here on Holy Family Radio. This is Deacon Jeff Compton, and we're off to a really great start here on day one of the Spring Spirit Drive. And just want to let you know that we've got 2.5 more days yet to go, and if we continue on this pace, we're going to be very, very happy. We're already happy. It doesn't really matter how this all turns out, because every dollar is a dollar that we get to do more work for the Lord. And so, we just thank you for all you've done so far, and all those of you who I can maybe motivate you to consider supporting us in this ministry. 888-287-0655. That's 888-287-0655. So our next guest is Dr. John Wood. You should be familiar, if you're a longtime listener, with his name and with his ministry. He's been to the Spring Spirit Drive for a number of years now. I hate to think about how long that's been, but with that, I'd like to welcome Dr. John Wood to the program today.
Thanks, Deacon Jeff. Great to see you.
Yeah, it's getting back into swing of things. Realize I have to put my earbuds in to be able to hear you. So,
Okay.
but we can hear you just fine. So I want to thank you again for joining us, and let's catch up a little bit, shall we, on kind of what's going on with you these days.
Yeah, well, my family just finished up our retreat season. So we do a lot of Sacramento retreats from September through April. 25 retreats. Most of them are Dragon Slayers, which is our second grade retreat. So we just had our last one last weekend in Oregon at St. Ignatius, and had a great retreat season. We encountered over 2,500 families throughout the year, and it's just been a great blessing to be able to do that. And now we're going into summer mode, where I get to do a little more creating and preparing for next year, and writing a new book, so that's pretty exciting. So lots of great stuff going on.
Wow. I mean, yeah, there is. You know what? If you're not doing something, we're called to be creators. I think as our Creator created us, and we're sent out to then also create and expand. And one of the things we need to do is we need to expand the Word of God to all those, and to be able to live that out in our families. And I think those retreats that you do. Number one, I know they're well received, but I mean, you get a really great chance to encounter a lot of families.
Yeah, and that's our target. We really, I mentioned before, because of Dynamic Catholic and Matthew Kelly and my first book that came out and has 250,000 copies floating around the United States, I got all these opportunities to travel our country and do parish missions and conferences, but I never really felt like I had an opportunity to encounter young families, young parents. That was my target. They're pretty busy and distracted, but they still want their kid to receive First Communion. So they show up for that sacramental year. And I feel like, with one thing Matthew Kelly told me and taught me in his business mind was that if all your customers are in the same place at one time, you better do something to get their attention to inspire them. And that's really the opportunity these retreats have given us, and I get to do them with my family. That's the other blessing, is that we all do these as a family, which I think is much more impactful. That I speak to them as a parent to a parent, and they're a lot of fun. The Dragon Slayer theme is great for the kids, so we get so many chances and opportunities to encounter so many families. It's such a huge blessing.
Yeah, I like that. The idea that you've got some people, you need to make the most of your opportunity with people that not most likely, but sometimes don't get into their faith, and they don't, they're not on the same trajectory or path, the journey that we're on, and I have that same sort of mentality when it comes to baptism, because that's what I'm mostly involved with in my parish. And this past weekend, believe it or not, Kim, I baptized 10 children at Saints Peter and Paul.
Wow.
At one time. And so that
is awesome.
Yeah, that was by far my biggest group, and a couple of those were some children that were older. So there are families that are, I think, understand the importance, and when you have baptisms, that's when you get people coming into the church that might not have been there for a while. And so one of my jobs.
Well, we actually
go ahead.
That you mentioned baptism. We actually have a whole initiation program. So we have three things we do. Dragon Slayers is kind of the most the most popular, the second grade one. We also have a confirmation retreat, but you're right along the same lines. I think my favorite thing to do is baptism prep. So that's what we do at our parish as well. We've been doing that for many years, but that's where you kind of encounter usually a few families at a time to prepare them for the baptism. And so we've actually just released a new program called Entrusted. So you have to check that out. We have a whole series for baptism prep for young families, young parents. We have a whole package we give them. We give them a baptism candle holder with their baptism date and named burned into the wood so they remember that day. And we give them all kind of practical ideas and tips moving forward. So I love baptism. I love the water, the oil, the chrism, the light. I once wrote a song about that. Rachel and Cassandra made into a song. So you're right. Baptism's where we want to first encounter them, because the best time to reach a parent is right before they become a parent. That'll build the deep roots, and then we kind of keep going with the rest of the sacraments of initiation. So that's really awesome that you got to do 10 in one weekend.
Yeah, it was a bit of a challenge, and I got to use the section of the book that said, baptism for a large number of children, and kind of joked up about that a little bit, but it kind of condensed some things, and it said that the first anointing that we do with the chrism, not the sacred chrism, but the oil catechumens, that could be omitted. And I thought, no, I want to do an anointing. These people need to see this. I mean, I think it's an important part of the symbolism of the rite. And so I went and did that, even though it took me a couple extra minutes.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. The chrism is my favorite smell in the world. So ever since my brother has been ordained, I always try to get him to help let me smell the chrism, or any chance I get to smell chrism. I'm on it, because it just smells awesome.
Yep. I make sure I get plenty on my thumb, and but get it on there nice and thick, and not dripping, but it's there.
Nice and thick. Good.
Yeah.
Having that baby smelling really sweet, huh?
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. So, I always enjoy doing these spirit drives, because there's so much driven by the Holy Spirit, really, because it's so many times we have guests on, and it's like, oh, funny you should mention that. Or I was just laughing when you're asking these questions, how this comes about, how you've got this, new baptism sort of prep program. I mean, that's really great.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We're pretty excited about it. I'll have to send you some info on that, of what we created, and really delves into the matter of the sacrament, the water, the oil, and the chrism, and the light, what all that stuff means. And then we go through the rite step by step. And I'm with you. Don't skip any of it, because it's such a beautiful rite. I want all of it. So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely right. So, so I guess, what question do you have, Kim? You have a question for him?
Well, you'll have to forgive me, because I missed the very top of your interview here with Deacon Jeff, and we don't have sound out in the
That's right.
lobby area.
And we're in our new studio, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, yes. Congratulations. Looks awesome.
Yeah, we're really enjoying it. It's great. So I suppose Deacon Jeff already probably asked you about what new things you have going on. He's nodding. Yes. Okay.
Well, not really. No, I led right into one with my first thing. So.
Okay. So do you have? I'm curious what new things you might have in the works. I know you have a couple of books out there now. Are you working on another one? Anything else you have going on?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mentioned we finished up our retreat season for our Dragon Slayers second grade sacramental retreat just this past weekend. So we're in building mode, and we're in creation mode during the summer. And so I'm actually I've been doing a Catholic Sprouts podcast. I'm a guest on their podcasts every Saturday with a program called Saturdays with Sir Roland, where we talk about dragon slaying to kids and families. And so I've been going through this series called The Seven Deadly Dragons. And as an eye doctor, I use the visible light spectrum to match them with the seven deadly sins. So, there's a red dragon and an orange dragon and a yellow dragon. And it's been a lot of fun to do the podcast. And about a year ago, I decided to create this into a new book. So I'm finishing up the first draft of this book, The Seven Deadly Dragons. We're creating images of all these dragons, so that hopefully they'll be ready for the fall. And that's kind of the big new exciting thing we got planned for this summer, is the creation of that book and that new series of dragons.
That sounds great. Is that a children's book geared towards children, or more?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's written towards between second grade to up to junior high. So we do the second grade retreats and we give them the book starting there. And so we're actually creating a program, hopefully that'll go along with it, kind of like Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, where they'll kind of focus on one dragon per year. This is more of a summertime program, but one year one is the red dragon, year two is the orange dragon. So we want to gear it to a level where obviously it applies to second grade and the sacraments of reconciliation and Holy Communion, but also it builds on, throughout the years, we want this to be more of a series that can reach some older kids too. So, and it's really designed to help parents teach these lessons too. Dragons are sins, they're temptations, they're obstacles to being saints. It's kind of like doing an examination of conscience to name your dragons. And so that's kind of where the idea and the theme comes from, since we do these sacramental prep retreats. And so, yeah, I would say geared towards ages, from second grade up to seventh or eighth grade.
Boy, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I wish we had access to those kinds of materials. Not that there was anything wrong with the formation that our kids had, but it sounds really exciting. And if a school or a religious ed program isn't using that, are parents able to do it, sort of individually, one-on-one with their child, or is it really geared for more of a group setting?
Yeah, so our retreat itself, we have venues in every deanery of the Diocese of Toledo. So our goal is to reach every family. So that's why our main focus is the sacramental prep in second grade. But any family in the country could actually do the virtual version of the retreat. Is available on our website, extraordinarymission.com. So anybody has access to those materials. And then when we do create this new Seven Deadly Dragons book, we'll have the ability to create all kind of classroom materials like Jeopardy games and crossword puzzles and posters and, saint cards and those kind of things that can be used. And they'll be available on our website for anybody. But we really want to help catechists, help them to use these materials in the classroom after we do our retreats or before we get there, to get them excited about dragons. But parents certainly is our target, and all the materials we create are created so parents can utilize these things in the home and teach the faith to their kids and help raise the next generation of saints. So everything we create will be available to everyone.
I love it. Do you have any expected timetable on that, or is it a little too soon to be looking at that?
Well, my goal and my hope is to publish the book in August. We still have a long ways to go with a lot of the artwork and stuff, the creation of the dragons and everything. But my goal would be to have it published in August, so that our first retreat of the school year is September 10th. So we'd like to have it so we can give a copy of that to all the people we encounter this next year. So that's our goal, but you know how those things go. We'll see see how it all pans out.
Yeah, man plans and God laughs sometimes. So
Yes,
Sometimes.
exactly.
yeah, absolutely.
Exactly right. So, hey, your retreats what is your plan for those to be deployed to other, let's say, dioceses or whatever, or is this just a family affair? How are you trying to structure it so that it can be replicated?
Yeah, so great question. So 2 years ago, I was in the finals for the Our Sunday Visitor OSV Innovation Challenge, and which really helped Dragon Slayers kind of take off. So we were in the final 12 of 400 some different innovative ideas. We didn't win the $100,000 grant or whatever, but we got a lot of support and a lot of feedback and a lot of training. And one of the things they told us there, as we make this pitch to these Catholic investors, is how do you take it national? How do you, like if it was Focus, Curtis Martin can't be everywhere. So can I remove myself from the retreat and train others? And so that is our long-term goal. We wanted to really perfect it in our diocese. So our diocese kind of gets to be guinea pigs a lot in a lot of the things I do. But with the creation of the new Seven Deadly Dragons, we want to be able to implement that this next year. So we'll have a whole new set and dragons and saints. And once we get it the way we like it, our long-term goal in the next 2 or 3 years would be to begin training other families and maybe bringing them here, training them, giving them the script, or maybe even having like an online course that tells them exactly how we've put together this retreat. And then hopefully, with Bishop Thomas's support and working with other dioceses and bishops, we could, get missionaries in other dioceses, maybe starting with 1 or 2 dioceses and, helping it spread that way. We know it works. We have the survey results from all the parents, thousands of surveys that tells us this is working. So once we get it perfected, we'll try to share it with dioceses all over the country if we can.
Mm-hmm. What's the involvement been like with your kids in developing some of these programs?
Well, my daughter Hannah is actually one trying to create the dragons as far as the visual images of the dragons. All of my kids are part of the retreat. So when I do like the podcast, part of the structure of the book is letters from the saints. So I have a specific saint that writes a letter to my training guild, for instance. So for instance, Mary is the saint that's against Kenodox, the red dragon of pride. And so when I do the podcast, I like to use the voice of the saint. So I've used some of the priests and some friends, and my daughters play the voice of like Saint Therese or Philomena. When we do the live retreats, my kids are all there. They all have jobs as far as the setup and takedown, and they're all dressed as squires. So we have our medieval outfits. My oldest daughter Isabel plays music at all of my retreats. So she plays songs for the kids and the parents for confirmation in 2nd grade. So they pack all the retreat bags. We have 2,500 bags of materials to pack. So they're in charge of a lot of that kind of background stuff as well. So we're all pretty introverted, so that we like to, it's kind of funny how God put us in a situation to do a live performance, but we do the best we can. They like to be in the background a little bit, but they definitely are involved in a big way.
Well, that's great. I mean, it's always fun, I think, a lot of times it's hard to work with family sometimes, right? Because there's a clash of personalities and styles and all that, but sometimes there's nothing more gratifying than being able to work with your family, and especially to be able to be an example for your kids, to demonstrate for them what it is to work, what it is to do for others. And so, yeah, that's highly commendable, sir.
And introverts sometimes make the best presenters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's God's sense of humor. But I think, that it's beneficial for me and for them to be part of the experience. And you wouldn't believe, from the anonymous parent surveys we get, again, thousands of anonymous parent surveys. A recurring theme a lot of times is they love how my kids are involved and my entire family does the retreat. It's really a witness to them of what we're trying to do as creating holy families. And so when they see my kids doing those things and they see them up there and performing and doing music and set up and tear down, it's a great witness to the people that we encounter and the families that we're encountering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you're listening to Holy Family Radio. You might even be watching us on Facebook right now or YouTube as we're streaming live from our studios here. This is our Spring Spirit Drive here on Holy Family Radio. This is the one time that we interrupt our programming to talk to you and ask you for your financial support. So if you could, consider giving us your best gift in this time of great need. And when I say of great need, it's not that necessarily our great need, but our society and our culture's great need for the saving truth that comes from Jesus Christ and His church. So you can sow a seed into this ministry, this media ministry, at 888-287-0655. That's 888-287-0655. You can also, on your mobile device, you can text the word give to 419-969-3255. That number again is 419-969-3255. And when you text that number, you'll get a text back with a link to our online donation page. It makes it very easy for you. It's mobile enabled, so it fits well on your mobile device screen, and you can easily make that donation online to us today. You can do a one-time donation or you can do a recurring donation, whatever works best for you. So back to our guest here. I almost said deacon, but
that's you.
But I meant to say Dr. John Wood.
Yeah.
And So thank you for joining us today. You know, we started with a strong list of guests, and we haven't had much of a break, so we haven't had a lot of opportunity to talk about a lot of the things that we're doing, and are wanting to do. And one of the things that I approached Dr. Wood about was there is on our mobile app, there's a podcast section. Okay, so there's a button there for podcasts, and right now all we have is the Bishop's Corner, which is, that's an important program. That's a vehicle that Bishop Thomas uses to be able to reach the faithful and answer their questions. And I inquired to our provider, can we offer other podcasts on that? Sure, no problem. Up to 50 of them, I think they said. So I said, you know what? Let me look around to area sort of regional podcaster to see, what, maybe we could aggregate them and let them be available. It's not that we would produce them or anything. And I approached Dr. Wood about the Catholic Sprouts thing, and if there's anything else he does as well. So I've talked to some others, and they are amenable to the thing. So that's going to be one update we're going to do to our mobile app here in the coming months is to offer podcasts like yours.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great. I really got into podcasting in the last few years. It's a great evangelization tool along with Catholic radio. I mean, I always tell people the car is the classroom. We can learn so much about our faith, especially for me. I drive a lot. I'm a mobile eye doctor, so I travel to nursing homes all over. So to have the content you guys provide is absolutely a beautiful witness to evangelization. And you are building holy families. It's really awesome.
Well, thank you. That's what we try to do. It's not us. It's what we help God do.
Yeah.
Okay, right?
That's what the Holy Spirit does through you. Yeah.
Exactly right. So,
well, I was curious, Dr. Wood. You're talking about the retreats that you've been doing and how much that's been growing. I'm curious whether that's kind of the biggest challenge that you're facing right now, or whether there are other issues that are making life even more challenging than that.
Yeah, our biggest challenge is a great problem to have, which is we really have run out of time and space. I just hired a mission director, so I'm really excited that for the first time in 10 years, my nonprofit Extraordinary Mission has a full-time employee that can help me schedule and organize, which may give me a little more time. And we're kind of discerning how many retreats I can do. I've basically scheduled a retreat every weekend of the school year, at least one, except holidays. And so at this point, the problem is, where do I put more retreats? I've got lots more requests for confirmation retreats and different types of places. And, so it's a great problem to have, and it's a great challenge to have, but we're excited that the ministry is growing so quickly and expanding that we have the ability to hire a full-time mission director and to try to figure out how to get more events and encounter more families. So it's an exciting time and an exciting problem to have.
Yeah, absolutely. How can people find more about you and about these retreats, as well as maybe offer their support?
Yeah, just go to extraordinarymission.com. That's our website. It has links there for Dragon Slayers and the live retreat and the podcast, and a giving page. Any way you can support us. That all that stuff is on our website. And we also have a media guy, which is exciting. He's just graduating as from college, getting a college degree from Tiffin University, and he creates a lot of great, really cool promos and content for us and memory videos from the retreats. And he's updating the website, so it might be changing here this summer. That's on our to-do list, but everything about us is at extraordinarymission.com. You should be able to find all the information. And my email is john@extraordinarymission.com. People are free to email me any questions or ideas. So
wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you, listeners, for giving us a call at 888-287-0655. That's the number to join your support with this Catholic apostolate, spreading the truth with clarity and charity throughout Northwest Ohio. 888-287-0655, or text the word GIVE to 419-969-3255. So I think we're probably drawing to a close here of our time with Dr. John Wood. Is there anything else we missed, Dr. Wood, or that you'd like to add?
No, I just want to encourage everyone out there to support what you're doing. I love being a supporter of Holy Family Radio, and the ministry you do, like I said before, is just so valuable in today's world that needs truth and light. We need to be that light. We need to be that witness. We need to be that truth. We're doing everything that we can from what God's calling us to do to share the light and be the light. So you guys are as well, and I want to really encourage everyone out there to support Holy Family Radio.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that endorsement. And we certainly endorse the work that you have done and continue to do and will continue to do as you encounter more people and families, most importantly, as we carry them on in their journey. And just one little comment about that. I went to a breakout presentation at NCYC a number of years ago. And the person that was talking there was talking about how RCIA, that process was really from birth to adulthood, that we were supposed to encounter and walk with everybody throughout that time rather than just checkpoints. Here's baptism. Okay, here's First Communion. We're supposed to encounter them all the way through. And that really struck with me, and try to figure out how to do that as best as I can. So that's to be a challenge. And this is just one of the waypoints that we can work together to do that with more and more people. And I think we'll have more people that hold on to the faith longer and hopefully never let it go. So
absolutely. Yeah, that's our goal. Inspire, desire, fire is kind of our motto. We want to inspire them, but we also want to train catechists and parishes and DREs to keep the fire blazing. So we do, work hard with them before and after the retreats, because like you said, it's not a one-day thing. The faith's learned by repetition. Mm-hmm. That's why radio is so important. That's why parents are so important, because they have access to those kids every day. And it's our faith is a family of love, and they learn the faith through the family.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And hopefully we can interact as we go throughout the year, and hopefully things go well and you get all the growth done that you'd like to have done, and take those next steps.
All right. Thanks. So I'm praying for you guys. So please pray for us as well.
Absolutely will do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're talking to Dr. John Wood of extraordinarymission.com and talking about his retreats that he does. He was at St. Peter and Paul last year, I believe, or the year before, doing a First Communion retreat. And there was a lot of people that were there for that, lots of great feedback. And I don't doubt that one bit, because the work that Dr. John does and with his family. I wanted to ask him the question, but I didn't work it in, which was, if you recall, last year we talked to him and what they did for Lent. You remember what they did for Lent?
This last year?
Yeah, not this past year, but the year before.
I don't.
Do you remember that? We talked to him?
No.
They went without electricity.
Wow.
Through Lent, no electricity. So, obviously you have a few things, but, overall, no lights.
Yeah.
And all that sort of stuff. So I thought, I wonder what they did this year.
Well, now see, that makes me curious to ask all kinds of questions, like including the refrigerator.
Now, see, there's certain things that have to work, but I think it was more the essentials of that sort of stuff that we're talking about. So 888-287-0655. That's 888-287-0655. Our underwriter for this hour, by the way, is Fortman Insurance. Fortman Insurance has offices in Ottawa and Bluffton, and they've been an underwriter pretty much from the very beginning. And we thank John and Kathy Fortman for their support over the years, and continue to do with us and for us. And in fact, we had an opportunity to celebrate with them our Underwriters Appreciation Days. If you become an underwriter, we're going to do this on an annual basis in the days before Thanksgiving each year. We invite our underwriters to come in and just kind of meet and greet and have some wine and cheese and all that other stuff. And
you give thanks.
And give thanks for their support. So John and Zach were able to come and celebrate with us. And so we thank them for their support. So thank you so much. And business underwriters are important, but you, dear listener, are just as, if not more important, because there's more of you, number one, and so forth. And we want to reach more people, as many people as we can. So if there are any listeners out there who have been thinking about where they would like to donate. If they've ever thought about supporting the station, I encourage you to consider doing that right now. I know a lot of times, maybe you didn't even think about offering a donation to the radio station because you think, well, there are others who will take care of that for me. Maybe it just never occurred to you that they're there, so there must be enough support. There can never be too much support because, as we talked about earlier, there are always opportunities for us to do new things, to be able to pick up another radio station, to do more with our mobile app, to do more programming from this studio, this brand new studio that we have. That's only possible through your donations. So if you've never given before and you've enjoyed the programming and you appreciate the fact that this station is here, not only for yourself, but maybe for your family, a family member that maybe is riding in the vehicle with you that doesn't go to church with you, and you put this on and they get a chance to hear it. It's a way to evangelize. I almost want to say in a passive way, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because radio listening in a car especially is kind of like a passive thing. It's always there. Your kids are picking it up. If you have it on, your kids are in there. It's always on in my car. So my kids, when they get in, I take them to school. I pick them up from school. Guess what's on the radio? Catholic radio.
Yep.
And so they get exposure to that. They get to hear about the sacraments. They get a chance to hear about the news. They get to hear about the culture, the application of the faith to everyday life. So
through that Catholic lens.
Right? Especially so. So consider making a donation. I don't care how big or small it is, but just the fact that you see the value in Catholic radio and demonstrate that in a concrete way through a simple $5 donation, a $10 donation, maybe make it $5 a month. That's $60. Whatever, we'd be very appreciative to hear that and to have that and to hear from you. It's 888-287-0655. 888-287-0655. You can also do a text. Just text the word give to 419-969-3255. I almost started to give out my cell phone number again. 419-969-3255. You text that number and you'll get a text back with a link to our online donation page. It's mobile enabled, so it'll look great on your phone and it's easy to use and to do. So 888-287-0655 is the number to call. Go to our website. Lots of different ways. I don't think I mentioned this on the air yet, but we're looking at next year we'll have the ability to do Venmo. So that people are finding that as a very convenient way to send and to move money around. And so you can look for Holy Family Radio to be on Venmo as a business profile and a charity that you can transfer money to. So just trying to make it easy. Just more than a phone call. So 888-287-0655. When we reach to the top of the hour, 1 o'clock, we're going to be talking to Al Kresta, host of Kresta in the Afternoon. He's the CEO of Ave Maria Radio and just a titan in many ways of the Catholic radio. I don't want to say industry, but ministry, I guess you might say. A man who is well-read, well-versed in a number of topics. The Catholic faith is quite deep and quite broad, and Al Kresta kind of fits that bill a bit because he can go from working and conversing with intellectuals on a number of topics to, other sorts of very simple, topics or whatever. So I'm very impressed by that. He's well-read.
He's very, excuse me, whoa. He's very well read. Yeah, you can pick up on that easily if you listen to him for, an episode or two at most. It's just naturally gonna flow during his show. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to talking to him. Just hoping I won't be shamed in my ignorance as compared to him. But it's not about me.
Right.
It's about bringing you guests during this time that enrich your walk in the
Right.
faith and your walk with Christ. So yeah, we're looking forward to talking to him at the top of the hour. Are we going to take a long break, Jeff, or are we going to talk for a little bit?
No, I'm going to take a little bit of a longer break, so I get a chance to eat a little bit of lunch. This is your opportunity, though, to make that online donation if you think about it, or that phone call to 888-287-0655. That's 888-287-0655. So when we do come back from our break, we will have Al Cresta on the line. Hopefully, things can change, but you never know. But we hope to talk to him then. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. If you see our live feed, share that with your friends and family, that they can kind of watch what's going on, that this is a real place. There's real people that are involved to making this all happen, real expenses that we have to pay. And we do have some. We have the tower light of our Ada Tower that needs to be replaced. That's around $8,000. There's lots of other things like that we have to pay attention to. Transmitters are $10,000 or more, and so
you have to pay attorneys to help you with licensing issues.
we do.
Yeah,
There's
can't do
lots.
that without the assistance of those professionals. Electricity here, just in the studio, to run all these computers and the radio dashboard, shall I call it, or whatever term we want to use. So
Whatever it is. Yep. So 888-287-0655. I'll say it one more time real slow, and then we'll go to a break. 888-287-0655. Thank you for listening to Holy Family Radio's Spring Spirit Drive 2023. We'll be back in a little while.